Good morning. How the devil are we all doing? Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day, and I am sat here on my own. There's no bib. There is no bib. There's usually a box here that kind of has the bib man in it, but it's not. He's not here today. He's not here today. Happy anniversary to Mr. and Mrs. Bib. So it's just me today. You guys just got me. How are you doing? Does it all look good? Does it all sound good? Do you all feel good? I don't know if you can tell it. You might not be able to tell it because of the lighting that I have in here, but it was an incredibly nice bank holiday weekend in Manchestershire this weekend. So I caught the sun. I have concrete skin. I'm pale, but not to the point where like the sun sees me and I just burst into a ball of flames. I'm pale, but usually the sun hits me and then bounces off. Like you'd see a concrete pavement. That's my skin. However, yesterday, can't quite tell because of the lighting, but yeah, I have a little bit of colour. Nice. I mean, tomorrow it will just go straight back to being pasty white, but still, it makes me feel like I'm partially alive. How the devil are you? Did you all enjoy this on this weekend? Did you get up to any games? Do let me know in the chats. Mr. Gallic Clark is in early doors. Say morning, lads. I'll read. Lake says, oh, hello. That's how Bibi says it. Facts, by the way. G-Man. Now then. Good morning, G, says Gagad. Good morning, Double G. Gagad. How the devil are you? Mr. T, dropping in the Gallic Clark. That's what you like to see. How's the streams going, Mr. T? When's the next one? I want to make sure I drop in. I was scrolling back through your Twitter this morning. I didn't get back as far as I wanted to do purely for that reason. I thought, oh yeah, when's Mr. T next live again? So I scrolled back through your Twitter and I got to what was it? It distracted me, which is what stopped me looking. Oh, it was a PS5. You bought a PS5 for someone else. How dare you? And I saw that there was a little bit of back and forth in your comments. But yeah, how dare you be a nice guy, buying something for yourself, changing your mind, and then offering it to other people. How dare you? But even if you did just buy it for someone else, do you know what? I do not begrudge that in the slightest, because if you didn't buy it, chances are someone else that didn't want it would have bought it. So yeah, GG's. But good morning. Luke says, I have two skin settings, ghost and lobster. See, I'm usually just ghost. I do have the other two settings, lobster and just like nice tan. But it's usually a case of ghost, and then I'll probably fall asleep in the sun or spend a full day out, say in Florida or something like that. And then I might go lobster, and then at that point I flip a coin as to whether I go back to ghost or I get a tan for like a week that just like washes off in the next shower kind of thing. Not that I only shower once a week. Oh no, they're onto me. Oh no. Yeah, that's kind of me. Anyway, good morning. Welcome everyone. If you don't know, my name is Graham Day, as it says on my shirt. First time wearing my England shirt, so nice. Trying to get myself into the Euro spirit. Big airhead. Do you know, I'm not even going to speak about the Euro. I was going to ask Trent Alexander-Arnold getting in or not, but we'll have that conversation elsewhere. If we do any gameplay streams and stuff, we can pick that off. But because I have a lot of news to jump through today, not necessarily the biggest stories in the world of video games, but definitely breaking stories in the world of video games. We've got 6 of the old bad boys, including a couple shared by you guys. So let me jump in. For those of you who don't know, my name is Graham, as I mentioned. This is Ice Cream Uploads. And in true ice cream fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast. Even if I do say so myself. I usually would say we, but I'm on my own. Anyway, I'm going to give you my thoughts and my impressions on the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories in the world of video games this morning. And I want your thoughts and your impressions. And then I want your thoughts and your impressions on my thoughts and my impressions. That's kind of how it works. A little bit of a discussion. So if you are in the chat, please do get involved. You guys have started that already, which is lovely to see. But make sure you do that for the next hour or so, because this live stream gets turned into a podcast. We do go live on Twitch each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. ish, although I am live. I've been live like 20 to 11. That's quite good for a one-man stream. I'll take that on a Tuesday as well, the busiest day of the week for us. So anyway, we do go live at 10 a.m. ish on Twitch, but we turn the live stream into a podcast, a video that goes on YouTube, and an audio podcast that goes on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and Google Play. So if you are in the chat, please feel free to get involved on behalf of everyone watching and listening on demand a little bit later on. Just a couple of things to mention. First of all, we did have a giveaway running, which we... It was our basically, to celebrate the fact that we're closing in on 2,500 followers, and it's pushed us to within 16 followers of 2,500, which is nice. Anyway, we gave away a £50 insert coin voucher, and that was announced on Friday. So it ended Friday evening, Friday tea time-ish, and we announced it on Friday evening. Let's see if I can find the name of the person that won. Anyway, they have come forward. They have claimed the prize, so it's not being re-rolled. They were super quick to claim the prize, as you'd expect. See if we can find it. Where is it? Profile, tweets. I clearly should have been prepped for this, but no, responding to Westo's stuff. Countable Owl, there you go, at Countable Owl on Twitter, won the £50 insert coin tease voucher and has claimed it already. So GG's, nice. For those of you that do still want to win stuff, if you are a sub, there is still another chance for you to win a prize. Next Monday, we will be drawing our loot drop, ! Loot drop. The winner of that will be announced next Monday, and then that winner can then choose which game they would like between Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Super Mario Golf, and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. There you go. Remembered all three. Hey. So we're giving one of those games away to someone next week. So if you want a chance of being in that draw, then you just have to be a sub. You don't have to be a sub. We don't need you to be a sub. You do you. But those that do sub, that's one of the ways that we can give back. So if you're not a sub, you can't get into the loot drop. But if you are a sub and you want to be in the loot drop, make sure you're a sub on Monday next week, because that's when the draw will go ahead. Nice. Anyway, how's everyone got up? So how's everyone weekend? Did you have a good weekend? Did you enjoy the sun? Anybody get up to anything? I am currently well into my preparations for readjusting my setup. I need to do an IKEA run, because IKEA will not give me the table that I want online. I have to figure out how to get a van to go and get the desk, because my car isn't big enough to get it. God damn it. But yeah, I've got big plans for changing my room. How's everyone's streaming setups? Is everyone changing stuff too? Is it just me? Nice. Well, it seems like everyone's changing stuff at the moment anyway. I mean, Mr. T jumping on streaming. I've seen Mr. Fish. Obviously, he's redone all his setup. So yeah, everyone's doing the setup stuff. So I'll be doing that soon as well. I mean, that's kind of the same. My setup has changed like 3 times in the last 2 months. Slightly. New cameras, new angles, slight room rejiggles and stuff. So time for another bigger change again. Anyway, you shouldn't sleep under the sun. Sleeping under the sun is bad. Okay. That's true. That is true. I've done it once, but concrete skin didn't affect me. But yeah, you shouldn't do. Anyway, tell you what else is bad. Losing games. This is something that we've kind of touched on previously. Not with this specific angle, though. So we have spoken about the digital future of video games, how it's wonderful being able to access the video games wherever you are. You got a new console? Okay, you can get your game. You don't have to have the disc. You move into someone's, say you go into the office, move into a new location, got a console there that's not yours. You can download your games, play Bosch, play it on your phone and things like that. That's all wonderful. But what happens when those games are removed? We've seen this with the PS3, the PS Vita, and the PSP stores being cancelled, and then Sony did a U-turn and only cancelled the PSP store. The Vita and the PS3 stores still exist, which meant that until that U-turn, all of those games, if you didn't have them, digitally were going to be gone forever. There was a little bit of a U-turn, so that's not quite happening, but it's still something. There's still a threat there of the digital future of video games, meaning that, yes, you get the convenience now, but that convenience doesn't last forever. And that's something that has resurfaced as EA has decided to delist a bunch of its old Need for Speed games. So that's going to be our first story today. We will also then jump into, just for a change, let's talk about Cyberpunk 2077 on the Scoop. Yeah, Cyberscoop. They've appointed a new game director. That was shared on our Discord, actually. That was shared by one of you guys. Who was that? That was Mr. Garlic Clark sharing that story. As well as that, we have Microsoft's new Halo Infinite art, a new listing for the Nintendo Switch Pro, which kind of confirms it yet again. Microsoft Flight Simulator has cut its update sizes in half, thanks to David for that one. And then finally, a little bit of news about Knockout City, because I've been playing shitloads of it, and it's free stuff. So there you go, fill it out, nice. Weekend was good until yesterday when the NHS decided to stick a needle in me for the second time in 2 months. No side effects yet. Well, I hope it continues like that. I actually had quite a rough week. I still don't think I'm fully over the the first jab. I think that I'm not 100% sure because the temperature in Manchester has been up and down. But I got the jab on Tuesday, so I'm a week into it now. A week later, the first 3 days were not pretty. I was very rough, but then I've kind of like had up and down body temperature and stuff like that. But then again, it's been ridiculously hot and then rainy and ridiculously hot outside. So I don't know if it's the jab or if it's that or if it's a bit of both. But Gaga says no side effects yet. Asim says, apart from that third eye. There you go. Come to the South G and I can get you 15% discount. I care. It'll end up costing you about £100 more in petrol. But do you know what I'll do that? You get the burgers in. And let's go. That'd be lovely. But anyway. So yes, as mentioned, EA are getting into the conversation of the digital future of video games and all of the problems that come around that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's this. Don Peppiatt at VG247 says that EA has delisted all of its old Need for Speed games. EA has announced that all of its old Need for Speed games have been removed from the digital storefronts, making them unavailable to purchase online. EA has delisted its legacy Need for Speed games, leaving you unable to purchase Need for Speed Carbon, Shift 2 Unleashed, Undercover, and The Run via Xbox Live, PSN, and other online stores. The announcement was made on a bank holiday in the UK and on Memorial Day in the US, and it almost seems like EA wanted it to pass by without too much uproar. EA has said that the games will remain available to play if they're already owned, but as of yesterday, May the 31st, buying any of the games listed above from online storefronts is impossible. As well as being delisted from the stores, all online services in the affected games go offline August 31st. Good luck if you're keen on getting trophies, achievements, and so on that require online play. As per a post on Reddit, EA said decisions to retire games are never made easy. And the thinking behind killing support for the legacy titles was made so that the publisher could shift gears to focus on the future of Need for Speed. We hope you've gotten many victories, satisfying drifts, moments of friendly rivalry, and hours of joy over the last few years out of these games. And we hope you'll keep driving with us in one of our new titles, said the developer. Back in 2020, we saw the Need for Speed franchise handed back to Criterion. Earlier this year, EA delayed the new Need for Speed and moved Criterion to help with the development on Battlefield 6. So, as mentioned, this is a conversation that isn't brand new. The digital future of video games. EA has delisted a bunch of old Need for Speed games. Is that fine? Their reasoning is that these games require cost, require time, require effort from the developers. By closing those games down, they can focus on other games, the future titles. Is that really the case? How much time, how many developers will be focusing on Need for Speed's legacy titles? Yeah, don't get me wrong, there's still probably a cost when it comes to having the servers and things there, but is that really going to make a massive change? But what do you guys think? Is this something that we should just get used to, or is it something that we should petition, get the pitchforks out for? Should we accept that we should live in a world where those old experiences disappear? Retro gaming is huge, not just for the people that love retro gaming in general. Retro gaming is good for the people that want to capture the past. How many people? I mean, I'm obviously in the PES scene, so I see a lot of people sharing PES 6, PES 5, PES 1 and 2, old school games, mods for PES 6 on the Xbox 360 and ports to PCs and so on. People still modding the tits off of PES 2017 and stuff like that. I mean, that won't really happen. The future doesn't allow for stuff like that. Is that a shame, or is that something that we should just get used to? What do you guys think? I've always had that as and a magnetic personality. Looks like EA has put the Need for Speed series underground. Need for Speed Unwanted. I mean, it is. It's essentially that. It's in my opinion, it's a shame. It's a shame. That said, am I going to play any of these games? No, not really. But I'm not the target audience for retro replays and stuff like that. I don't tend to go back and play too many games. The underground games, loved, but I didn't play Carbon Shift, Shift 2 Unleash, Undercover, and The Run. So is this one of those I want my cake and eat it complaints from people like me? There's been a lot of comments about this from people on social media saying it's shit to see the past being ripped away. If you don't have a legacy, how can you have a future? That sort of kind of thing. Which, and that's a bit dramatic, but I do kind of sympathise with them, even though I haven't played those games and I wasn't intending to play those games. There is no way to go back and celebrate that history. Like how many people have sat there and watched a history of whatever? I'll stick with football. So seeing videos that go back and cover old school NES and earlier games all the way through to PS4 or PS5 now. This is the evolution of football games. It's going to be so much difficult now for content creators to do that, because if games are digital or have any digital footprint removed, someone wants to go back and do the history of the Need for Speed franchise, then there's going to be no Carbon Shift, Unleashed, or Undercover, or any of that to go with it. So it's going to be quite difficult. It's going to be quite difficult, which is a shame. If you mention Retro Pez 3 times, rumour has it Shales turns up behind you telling you to get a modded Series S and play all Pez games. Well, do you know, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because I have a Pez 4 football there. I can't figure out which way my finger's supposed to go. There. That one there. This one. Signed by Thierry Henry. And every time I post a picture of it, Shales emerges like, give me the ball. I'll take the ball. Give me the ball. So, not going to do that. And if you mention PES 2022 3 times, random shoe will appear. Good morning, Madge. Good morning, Madge. Do you know, actually, whilst you mentioned the shoe, it reminded me of Twitter, which reminded me to ask you guys for your support, like I usually do. If you're not doing anything and you think, do you know what, I can share a retweet, then that would be massively appreciated. If you guys could just hit retweet on this, boom. Then that would be hugely appreciated, because then that just lets people know that we're live. I mean, I've done it already. You don't have to do it, but if you can do, that would be lovely. Give me the ball, says Sure. Do you want me to show it you? Do you want me to show you, Sure? Sure. It needs to be pumped up, but I don't want to pump it up because I have a feeling that if I do that, it might trash it. But there you go. Pro Evolution Soccer 4, signed by... Oh, it's a bit dusty. Oh, signed by Terry Henry himself. Terry Henry. Hey. So there you go. So, I love this. Asim's comment says, so, EA has taken the Need for Speed series to the window. To the wow! The sweat drops down my balls. Oh, these meat. Okay. Yeah. All right, kind of. No, that's good. Good morning, Show. Good morning. I'll rate. Were you playing Knockout City? Because I got some of your Go Live notifications, and I was like, I'm going to drop in and show if you're still live. When you're doing, it was, the Go Live was like, I need 20 wins before the month ends. So I assumed you were playing Knockout City, but I didn't actually get to drop into the stream because we carried on watching the Lord of the Rings extended editions, which are like 72 hours long each. So by the time they'd finished, you'd gone offline. Shogun's now on his way to your house. Shogun's always on his way to my house. He's usually like down the end of the garden, like in the bush with the binoculars. You know what it's like. We all know what he's like. God damn it. But yeah, anyway, back into the room. EA has delisted Need for Speed Carbon Shift, Shift 2, Undercover, and The Run via Xbox Live, PSN, and other online stores. Not the greatest news if you wanted to play those. And do you know what? My biggest issue with this is not so much the fact that we are losing a bit of legacy. We are losing the history of the Need for Speed franchise, at least in one format. It makes it difficult for people to get into that history, which is always a shame. But my biggest issue is the fact that there was no notice for this. This came out of nowhere on a bank holiday weekend / Memorial weekend. So everyone was out in the sun, getting half cut, having nice gin and lemon Fanta, smash. If you haven't had that, by the way, fruity gin, lemon Fanta. Woo! Beautiful. Anyway, so everyone's out in the gardens having bank holiday weekend, taking times away from the PC, away from the desk or everything. EA rolled this out really quickly without notice, and the statement went out at the same time as them being delisted. That's the biggest issue for me. There was no heads up, we're going to take these off. It's just a boom. And that's that's a damage limitation move, which is just a bit Weasley, in my opinion. That's how can we get this out with as little people seeing it and therefore as little bit of a kickoff as possible? Let's do it in a period when no one's going to be around. There was no time, no build up, no period where people could have gone, okay, I've got a 24-hour notice, a week's notice. And the reason for that is because you give a week's notice, that gives 2 points where you're saying these games are going to be delisted, and then these games have been delisted. And by just doing it at the same time, it's shit because it's swift and brutal, and nobody gets the time to react to it. So that's the shittest thing for me, is the lack of consideration. At least with the PlayStation stuff, there was an announcement people could kick off, which then led to a tweaked announcement. If PlayStation had just come out and smashed the Vita, PSP, and PS3 stores all at the same time, we would not have any of them live right now. EA could have at least done that, which could have maybe seen that Need for Speed community stand up enough to say, actually, this is what we need, or just give them a little bit of time to get their hands on, and that's the bit that I don't like. Not a fan. Delisted their own Need for Speed games, so that means, again, sorry asking 3PS. Well, 2 things. Basically, anyone that wants to play them, if you're a digital gamer and you don't own those games, there is no way that you can play those games. If you have, let's say you have a digital PS5 and everything became backwards compatible, there would be no way to play those games because you got to put a disc in your console. And it's the awkwardness of the realism of a digital future. Digital is convenience. And I love the fact that I've got a digital PS5 sat there, but the downsides of a digital future that we still have to live through. And when I say live through, I don't mean that in like a super dramatic sense. We have to live through this. But like in terms of, there's a lot of learning. Switching to digital offers loads of conveniences, but the trade-offs that we're living through, that we're experiencing for the first time is okay. You can just go past Game Station. Well, you can't because it's dead. But you can go past Game Station, pick up one of the games off the shelf, and take it home. £3. There you go. You got yourself a piece of history that you can play 10 years ago. You can't do that with digital. So it's that kind of issue, plus the fact that EA did it over a bank holiday weekend when nobody was around. It's kind of a double negative. Bit crappy. No, that was Pokemon Sword. I did a ridiculous weekend league style challenge. Okay, there you go. Well, there you go. Famous Commando thirst tweeter Shogunesh live. Ain't nobody got time for Batwing? What? Anyway, let's move ahead on that note. It's been a while since we've spoken about CD Projekt Red, so let's jump back into it. There was a period around 6 months ago where all we would speak about was Cyberpunk 2077. And we do come back to it occasionally, but we don't spend much time talking about it. But we will today, as Mr. Garlic Clark has forced the agenda by sharing this story with us in our Discord. Just a reminder that if you do want us to speak about anything specific in the world of video games, do share it in our Discord and we can pick it up and chat with you guys. But this is the one. Chris Scullion at VGC says, CD Projekt Red appoints new Cyberpunk 2077 game director. Former BioWare design director Gabriel Amatangelo? Don't know. Gabriel is leading development on the game's future content. Amatangelo. That's okay. That's what we're going for it. A new game director has been appointed for Cyberpunk 2077 to work on the game's upcoming content. Gabriel Amatangelo became the game's creative director in January 2020 and has now been made game director following the departure of quest director Mateusz Tomaszkiewicz. That's what we're going with. GamesIndustry.biz reports Amatangelo's role will be leading development on Cyberpunk 2077 content going forwards, including its upcoming expansions. He joined CD Projekt Red as Cyberpunk creative director in January 2020. Amatangelo previously worked at BioWare between 2010 and 2015, including as design director on Dragon Age Inquisition DLC and lead designer on several Star Wars The Old Republic expansions. Last year, CD Projekt president Adam Kaczynski said that Cyberpunk's DLC and expansions would be revealed fairly soon, claiming that the company was planning more DLC than The Witcher 3 received. Following the game's troubled launch, however, CD Projekt has yet to reveal any new information about future content, though Kaczynski did reiterate in an investor call last month that they were still in development, saying, "I can confirm we are working on expansions. Nothing's changed there." Following 3 delays, the highly anticipated RPG released in December. You know, we don't need to know that. We know what it released with. If you want to read the rest of the article, it's up there on VGC, written by Chris Scullion. Go check it out. But the point is that CD Projekt has appointed a new game director. Is that what it needs? Is that what CD Projekt need to give Cyberpunk 2077 some life? Could a new director turn that around? I mean, we're sitting in a situation where Cyberpunk still doesn't exist on the PlayStation Store. Is a new game director enough there? What do you guys think? I mean, I'm just opening up some old wounds. I know. Do you want me to get... Fine. I'm going to do it. I have a copy of Cyberpunk in the drawer, still in the cellophane wrapper. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. I may have mentioned that before. Do you know, actually, every time I do that, I should do this as well. Yep, there you go. QI Klaxon, by the way. Because that happens all the time. If you're new here, me getting my Cyberpunk copy out the drawer is a bit of a meme now. I do it all the time. I still haven't played the game. Love to play the game. I do. Do you know? I'm kind of building up a little bit of devil's advocate conversationing here. The fact that CD Projekt Red have a game that still isn't 100%, that still isn't available on all platforms, and the fact that they've given the content potentially a new lease of life with the game director aren't two things that should be at loggerheads. Those can be two separate decisions or two separate conversation strings. So I think this is a good move. In my opinion, I think it's a good move. Thoughts and opinions, yada yada yada. There you go. Surely they won't reveal expansions before they have the PS5, Xbox Series X versions or update ready. It would be a big mistake. Exactly. Let me just get the discussing now on screen. I don't have a Bibby to fill the gaps, so let me just see if I can get this in. CD PR appoints new CP 2077 game director. Is that gonna fit? No. Okay, let's get rid of the appoints and just put it as that. Boom. There you go. So yeah, definitely announcing expansions at this point would be stupid. Would be absolutely stupid. That would be akin to what Bethesda did last year. Bethesda had, by the way, good morning, talk shows on mute. How are you doing? Expansions don't they need to fix the base game? Exactly. That would be akin to the Bethesda stuff last year. Was it year before now? I can't remember. Oh, squeaky mic. So when Fallout 76 wasn't great and they were adding the Wastelanders expansion, the Wastelanders expansion came with a bunch of fixes that would change the game. I said change the game, fix the game. But then they added the private servers element for people to have monthly paid for content. So they were asking people to pay for additional functions within the game, despite the game not being fixed, and releasing that before. And the idea was the update should have come out and then the expansions should have happened, like the private servers. But it didn't. The update got delayed and they still went forward with the expansions, which just looked incredibly greedy and didn't work very well for them. Got a lot of negative attention. So, yeah, if they actually do release the updates at this point in time, absolute foolish business. That said, I don't mind them hiring a game director and someone that's worked specifically on creating expansion content. I do like that idea because Cyberpunk 2077 is still potentially an incredible game. I mean, it's buggy and a lot of people haven't played it and it was stripped from stores and there's all of that shit that goes with it, absolutely. But it still has the potential to be an incredible game. Maybe not 10 out of 10 for everyone, and a lot of people that played through the story have said it's a good 8 and 9 out of 10 if you ignore the bugs and everything. So there's a good game there. So them focusing on the future of that, I don't mind. And I use The Witcher as an example of that. Oh, my Slack's just come alive. I use The Witcher as an example of that. The Witcher wasn't flawless when that first came out. But they worked hard to fix that and worked hard to create a longer tail, a longer shelf life for gamers so that they can enjoy that game for a long period of time. So if CD Projekt Red are bringing in someone now to start to lay the groundwork for a better future for the game, that's fine. I'm happy enough with that now. Though I don't see that being us being in a world where that slows down the fixes and stuff. I imagine there's still I hope they're still working to fix the game and get it fully updated and available on PSN and everything anyway. That stuff is still trundling along, I hope. And if it does, then you want to kind of hit the ground running then. So you need the content. You need a good plan. You need someone that understands how to release longer-term DLC. You need someone that understands how to bring your users and community back. And bringing in someone that's had experience doing that for BioWare and the like in the past, that's a good move. So yeah, it's almost like an update without an update. Cyberpunk have plans for the future, but nothing right now, is essentially the gist of it. Okay, great, fine, nice. We're still in this period of limbo. But at least when we get past this period of limbo, they are planning for that period then. This period of limbo doesn't mean that they're not doing anything, just means that we're not seeing anything. And hopefully, they will break the back of whatever it is they need to do to get the game fixed, to get it onto PS5, to get it on Xbox Series X, to get it fully working and back on all the stores and so on. And we can all play it and we can all high-five and go, okay, this is what it should have been. And then we have the content run. That is kind of what I'm looking forward to, hopefully. I played and enjoyed it on PC, but I'm waiting to play it again when the PS5 version is sorted. That's when I'm looking to get any expansions too. Absolutely, same. I will open my cellophane packaging on my PS4 version to play it on my PS5 at that point in time, not before. New director on a title with a large number of problems. Seems like throwing a fireball into the forest. I mean, it could be. That said, he's either a fireball being lobbed into a forest, or the forest is already on fire, and he's one of those big helicopters. They're just lobbing one of those like little water buckets. He could be something that helps stop the fire going forward. There's a lot of fire now, and he won't be dealing with a lot of the firefighting that's going on right now in terms of the game stuff, but he will be making sure. Actually, do you know what? To give a better framing of that analogy, the fire that's going on right now is kind of something that's irrelevant to him. He's in the next part of the forest along that's not yet caught fire. His job is to essentially make sure that shit's fireproof, not waterproof. Fuck, fireproof. I mean, water on hand, like all that sort of stuff. That if we were going with that analogy, that's his job, is to make sure that any of the previous fire is kind of irrelevant to the next bit of the forest. That's kind of where it should be. My worry is that people are still going to be excited to play it by the time everything is fixed. Is that are people still going to be excited to play it by the time everything's fixed for the console releases? Good question. I mean, I think the answer to that is no, they aren't. But will it be enough? Is that the people? There is absolutely no way that you can get the same level of hype for two reasons. One, it was 7 years of hype. And two, it's the first impression. You do not get a second chance at a first impression, usually, in the world of video games. Obviously, we spoke about other games that have come back and salvaged the reputations and stuff, but even still, you don't tend to get the same level of cut-through unless you change. And when I say that, so you have a game, let's use Avengers, for example, Marvel's Avengers. Wonderful game, can't wait to play it, it's amazing, yes, Crystal Dynamics, whoop, whoop, whoop. And then it comes along, it's like, oh, okay, they can fix it, they can add new content, they can change things, but are they going to have as much hype as they did before that? Not really. The only way they can do that is to fix the game and then drop Avengers 2, and then that's okay, you fixed it, and now you have my hype because it's something new again. So until we get Cyberpunk 2078, then they will never get people to be as excited. They probably still won't be as many people as excited as the first one. Same with any sequel. You lose people with sequels because people haven't played the first one, they're not going to play the second one and stuff like that. Even if it's the best series in the world and super marketed, they will never get that same level of hype. It's just whether they can get enough, because they had, like Pokemon Go, stupid levels of hype. But then Pokemon Go settled down to a level where everyone goes, dead game. What it actually is a super successful game, huge game, just not a worldwide fad kind of thing. CD Projekt Red has missed its fad opportunity, but it could still be a CD Projekt Red. Cyberpunk has missed its fad opportunity, but it could still be a hugely successful game. Definitely. 10 out of 10 would take a backhander again to review next CD Projekt Red release. Oh, touche. That's it, actually, though. Madge, that's a flawed statement, because you're saying 10 out of 10 would take a backhander to review the next CD Projekt Red release. That was the problem in itself. People didn't get to review the release. It just released. Or if they did, it wasn't on console and it was just on PC. So 10 out of 10 would take a backhander to review specific formats for the next release. I wouldn't use The Witcher for anything. Didn't like it. Movement was awful in it. No consequences with its world for supposedly an RPG. Hello Games with No Man's Sky have done a great job to save itself. Well, that's the one that I didn't want to mention, because we talk about it so many times. So obviously, No Man's Sky, I mean, I'll mention it now. You've probably heard us talk about it at length in this podcast before, but No Man's Sky, wonderful game. It's going to be amazing. You can play with friends and universes and spaces and stuff and multiplayer stuff online. It's wonderful. Yeah. And then it just didn't have any of that. And that was because it was a small studio. The people doing the outward talking weren't really, either weren't speaking to the devs or didn't understand the devs. We'll just go with they didn't understand, because that's what, I think that's the angle that I don't think they ever said, but that people kind of believed. The people doing the marketing weren't really marketers. They were more like community kind of people that just had to do the marketing side of things and said the wrong words or gave the wrong impressions, and the game just wasn't what people expected it to be. No Man's Sky fixed all of that, though. Absolutely fixed it to the point where the community high-fived the development team so much that they had a whip round, literally raised money to buy shitloads of pizzas and drinks and stuff for the office. So the office in London got a ton of pizzas and drinks and stuff sent in, and the money that they then had left over from that, because they got so much money from it. Imagine a community being so happy that they would give up their money just to give it to developers. So they managed to then buy one of those billboards over the road that basically said thank you for your efforts and stuff. So yeah, absolutely. Hello Games No Man's Sky is the ultimate success story, but you don't. The reason I didn't want to talk about that is because I mentioned that so often, but that's because it's so difficult to come back. And also the other thing is Hello Games and No Man's Sky were punching. They were punching. CD Projekt Red wasn't punching. When I say punching, for those that don't know, just because I realise we don't just stream to the UK. Punching means punching above your weight, which means fighting at levels that should be above you. And No Man's Sky punched above its weight, whereas CD Projekt CD Projekt Red, nice, Elmer Fudd, wabbit. CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077 was absolute AAA heavyweight. That couldn't punch above its weight because there is nothing bigger than that. So it's easier for smaller games that are punching to drop and then come back than it is for heavyweights to drop and come back. So yeah, once a heavyweight's on the mat, it takes a lot to get it back up. So yeah, that's another reason why I didn't kind of want to mention that. But we've mentioned it now. The investors and publishers wanted it out. Yeah, well, it wasn't just that though. It was the miscommunication. So it was rushed plus miscommunicated. It was kind of like an amalgamation of the two. The people doing the marketing for No Man's Sky were the devs. They couldn't afford a PR team. That's it. So yeah, the people doing the talking, whatever it was between words through to development through to words, there was a disconnect. So the wrong words to explain the system came out, and people expected more than it was, and you can see the disconnect. If you go back and find like the articles that kind of pull it apart, you can see the disconnect there. But that's kind of the thing. It's like okay, I understand. That was just, you didn't quite have the right staffing because you were punching. Whereas CD Projekt Red absolutely should have had the right staff and weren't punching. They had the money and time, that's the key thing, and resources to do all of that spot on, and just didn't. They knew it wasn't up to scratch, but didn't do anything about it because they weren't really bothered. And that's where the key differences are. I still think the No Man's Sky team got tossed onto stage at E3 to show it off and present a game that didn't exist yet. I think it was E3. I think it was. And that's kind of the thing. That's like, how do you pass that up? That's where you've got, if you are Hello Games, a tiny little developer, and you've been offered this mega spot at E3, was it in the Xbox conference? I can't quite remember. It's years back now. You don't get these opportunities very, very often, and it looked beautiful. I remember seeing, like, it being in my mind, I'm like, imagine this in GTA. Just, fucking Star Wars was actually the example. I think I've mentioned that previously as well, the fact that it kind of, like, wet my whistle for what I'd want from a Star Wars game. Imagine running around Mos Eisley Cantina, fucking lightsabering people left, right, and centre, jumping into an X-Wing, flying off into space, and then literally going from boots on the ground to ships in space without the transition for two different type of games. That would be lovely, and that's kind of what it was. PlayStation conference, yeah, obviously. Jeff Keighley show in November at Game Awards. It was at a show. PlayStation exclusive for a while before it came into Xbox. That's why I went, yeah, obviously. But yeah, there you go. So it's easier for Hello Games to kind of turn that around because they how can I put it? They didn't show as much. They had a lot less resources and they had a lot more goodwill, I suppose, towards them. Whereas something like CD Projekt Red, they clearly had a lot of goodwill, but goodwill doesn't go very far when you're a big money churning company, especially when it looks like your mistakes have come as a result of looking like you're churning money. So you're a money churner that churns money, and you make decisions that make things shit to churn more money, and that's what it came out as with CD Projekt Red. So you have to go big and better, go beyond to bring it back from that brink. All the bees. So yeah, let's move forward. Speaking about Sony's and Microsoft's, let's jump into a little bit of Microsoft news. Obviously, I've kind of told you this was coming already. I was going to use this as the headline article. Just because it teased up a conversation for content coming later on in the month. So myself and Bib, obviously, we usually do the podcast here in Ice Cream Uploads. The last time we did an Xbox conference, we had Jordan, who you may know as Enix, who's joined us on a few of our podcasts previously. He is a massive Xbox fan and has Master Chief tattooed on him. So we got him involved in the last Xbox conference. We're looking at maybe doing the same again this year. On that, I mean, if anyone else does want to get involved in any of our conference stuff, please do feel free to put your hand up. We might not use everyone, or we might not get a chance to use anyone, depending on how our plans unfold. But if any of the other content creators in the room would like to get involved in any live industry watch-alongs, we would love to have some guests. But yes, rewinding back to what I was talking about, Halo Infinite has new artwork. I was going to have this as the lead story for today because it does set up those conferences coming later on in the month, but it's not a very meaty story, so I decided to not, because it'd be nice to have it for thumbnails, but beyond that, it doesn't really go too far. So I'll gloss over this pretty quickly. Andy Robinson at VGC says, here's Microsoft's new Halo Infinite art ahead of its expected June blowout. Xbox is set to hold a showcase on June the 13th. So there you go. That was kind of where my idea of tying it in was. Okay, we'll start talking about the artwork. We'll talk about the stuff for the rest of the month, but we don't really have plans for the rest of the month, so I'll stop there. And you can see how long the article is just there. There you go. So new Halo Infinite artwork has been published ahead of an expected reveal next month. Okay, questions in the chat. Who has an Xbox Series X or S console? Or even One X? Is backwards compatible, right? Is it right? I believe Halo Infinite. But who will be playing it and who is hyped to see Halo Infinite? Do let me know. But the artwork was first teased as part of Microsoft's Xbox and Bethesda showcase, but it's now been published in full by Twitter user Clobril. The Xbox and Bethesda game showcase will take place on Sunday, June the 13th at 6 p.m. BST. Microsoft has announced. So there we go. We have times 6 p.m. Sunday, June the 13th. That is when the Xbox and Bethesda showcase will go out our time in the UK. Halo developer 343 Industries has been providing regular updates on Halo Infinite's development since the start of the year. Recently, it hosted a lengthy Q&A session that revealed a wealth of new information on the game's Zeta Halo environment, including the way the day-night cycle affects the enemies players will encounter. Microsoft also detailed the PC features planned for Halo Infinite, confirming cross-platform multiplayer, and more. Just want to jump in there. Microsoft have been nailing cross-platform multiplayer for a generation now, so that is exciting news. In a wide-ranging blog post published in April, head of Xbox Game Studios, Matt Boutte, said Microsoft was committed to delivering, quote, a premier PC experience for its flagship shooter, which is due to release on Xbox consoles and PC later this year. We know many of you play across more than just your PC, including on Xbox and mobile. That's why we're excited to announce Halo Infinite will support multiplayer crossplay and cross-progression when it releases later this year, he wrote. That means if you're playing on PC, you can play with your friends on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. There you go, confirmation. It also means that your multiplayer customization and progress will follow you across all platforms. You just love to see that shit. You love to see it. It was announced at Sony's E3 2014 conference. Is it that old? Yikes! 7 years old. Wow, yikes. That's No Man's Sky, by the way, that we're talking about there. I've never really been a massive Halo gamer, but I'm excited to play this for sure. Microsoft's new Halo Infinite art. Okay, copy. Discussing now text. And paste. Okay. On-screen pop. Mr. T says, lies, Gary Clark. You've Master Chief bed sheets. It's bed sheets and master. Don't start putting those words together. Don't forget the curtains in the bin. Madge says, I have an Elite 360 and original Xbox, becoming increasingly disenchanted with Sony's PS5 campaign. Shaw says, wouldn't believe anything Matt Booty says, talking out his ass. Way, Booty. Shogun, absolute cheeks. That's a Shogun word. Absolute cheeks. Cheeks. No? Okay, never mind. Just watch Shogun Ash live on his next live on Twitch. It'll make more sense than me saying it. Anyway, yeah. Unsurprising, but good to see. New Halo Infinite art. We will see more Halo stuff in the next Xbox showcase. June 13th, we do have a date, we do have a time, 6 p.m. BST, and we will be doing a live watch along here on Ice Cream Uploads. So it's 2 weeks yesterday. So not Sunday coming, Sunday after 6 p.m. Make sure you join us for that. Sunday, June the 13th. The only caveat I will add to that is that I am on the alcohol on Saturday, June the 12th. So well, I may not be fully functional for that, or I may not be present, depending on how it goes. But yeah, we will find out more there. Make sure you join us. Nice. Okay, keep with it. Keeping the pace up. Let's move forward. So from Xbox messy.gif, exactly. It's not going to be pretty. There we go. So from PlayStation to Xbox to Nintendo. Listing for new Nintendo Switch Pro spotted on Amazon. This is by Vaspan Dastoor at The Gamer. And it says a listing for the Nintendo Switch Pro was spotted on Amazon Mexico. I mean, do you know what? I was just about to say with this, use this exact sort of tone at the start of the article, so I'll shut up what I was going to add and I'll just jump straight into it. At this point, it seems almost undeniable that Nintendo will announce the Switch Pro during or around the time of E3. After numerous reports that hinted at the reveal, a listing for new Nintendo Switch Pro was spotted on Amazon Mexico. The information came via a screenshot, my god, that's twice today, screenshot of Amazon Mexico that was tweeted by user alphabet_G. While no other information about the product was mentioned on the listing page, Amazon did change the listing name to Dummy ASIN after the screenshot started circulating. It now appears that the listing page has been taken down entirely. While the Switch Pro rumors have been doing the rounds for a while, they reached their peak after a recent report by Bloomberg. It suggested that Nintendo intends to reveal the high-end model of its handheld console at E3 2021 so that developers can show off their games as well as the console's performance. Additionally, the report claims that assembly of the new console will begin in July, and it could be on sale as soon as September. Soon after the report, there was word about some of the features that the Switch Pro would boast. A peripheral manufacturer in Asia reportedly told Spanish website Vandal that the latest model of the Switch would include a wider base on its dock in order to accommodate 2 USB 3.0 ports as well as an Ethernet port. They also claimed that the Switch Pro would be built with an improved kickstand for tabletop gameplay. It would be a wide flap like the kind found on Microsoft Surface rather than the flimsy one the current models have. Additionally, the insider also claimed that the size of the console would remain roughly the same and that it would initially launch in Europe. A global launch would be difficult given the difficulty in sourcing semiconductors at the moment. Previously, reports have suggested the new Switch will come with a larger screen and smaller bezels. It will also incorporate NVIDIA's DLSS technology, and Nintendo has remained completely silent throughout this period, but refusing to comment on a new Switch model or its increased manufacturing numbers. So there you go. Just in case you've forgotten, there is a new Switch Pro on the way. It's not confirmed still. There has been nothing from Nintendo. They haven't spoke about if it's in production, what kind of numbers we're looking at, where it will deploy. The only thing they actually said is that no Switch console will be coming this year, is what they said. I believe that was before the tax year. Were they talking calendar year with Dr. Share. I can't quite remember, but they denied it, which is nothing in the world of Nintendo. They've denied things and then and released it the week later anyway. But we have yet more rumors that the new Nintendo Switch Pro is coming, as Amazon have shared a product page. And anyone that's been around in video games for long enough understands that if Amazon have got a product page, something is happening. So do expect to see some Nintendo Switch stuff happening around E3. To say expect or don't obviously fully commit to it. Take it with a pinch. Take it with a pinch, but there's a good chance that we could see the new Nintendo Switch Pro around E3. Okay, keeping up with the pace as we are running out of time. I've got 2 more articles to go. This one was shared by David on Discord, aka Fatman Dave. He shared this in our Discord. You can do that too, by the way. If you want to share any news with us, just !Discord in the chat. We'll give you the link to our Discord. In there, we have a section called The Scoop. You can share news articles, and we can feature them just like we're doing with this one. This is written by Adam Bankhurst at IGN, and the article says, Microsoft Flight Simulator update cuts its 170 gigabyte base game size in half, from 170 gig to 83 gig. So Microsoft's Flight Simulators update 1.16.2.0, nice, just rolls off the tongue, not only brings with it a ton of fixes, but it also cuts its base game size of 170 gig in half to 83 gig. The new update is available now, and the reduction in file size was made possible thanks to the team performing some optimization for the initial full download of Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is another example of developers working to make their games take up less space and follows Fortnite's patch that made it 60 gig smaller on PC and Call of Duty Warzone's patch that reduced the file size between 10 gig and 14 gig. File size has been a big issue for some, especially those who wish to have both Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare / Warzone installed on one system. Activision said that 500 gig PS4 owners may need to make room if they wanted these games installed with all the mods and packs available. We recently took up why these video games have such huge install sizes, and it's due to a combination of factors, including games getting bigger in scope, problems with hardware inefficiencies, and more. Microsoft Flight Simulator is a game that keeps on giving, even after its release, when we gave it a 10 out of 10 and called it a masterpiece. That's enough we can put there. But if you're thinking about picking up Microsoft Flight Simulator, good news, it won't take you 276 weeks to download now. Just 130 weeks. There you go. Job's good. That's a mighty cut down in file size. It is. That is huge. And we've kind of spoken about this previously. Let me just let me change. Actually, I'm going to free type game update sizes. ... Too big? Question mark. That says too big, not too big. There we go. Okay, we'll put this on screen. Is this a thing? Is this a thing? Are game update sizes too big? I believe they are. And the reason I say that is because, yeah, all right, and how long is a piece of string? How big is a game? It depends. What do you want the game to be? What do you want the game to do? But I believe that the size of games versus the complexity of them, the size of games have increased exponentially to the compared to the outward complexity. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot more things going on internally, like coding for cross progression, general quality of life upgrades and stuff that realize that actually we need this extra bit of code running in the game to make it run seamlessly and problem free. So there's a lot more things in games now that didn't used to be there just to make them nice. But the sizes, the speed that those sizes have gone up in games has been ridiculous. And I think that's partially down to, I'm going to use a harsh word, and I don't necessarily mean it as it is, but laziness. And developers are quite lazy in that sense, in terms of, okay, I need to get from A to B. So I have a problem that I need to solve to make the game work. And previously, they'd have done that. Okay, I need to get from A to B in 500 meg, whereas now it's like, okay, I just need to get from A to B. It's going to be 12 gig. All right, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, there's none of that speeding up the process. And I think the best example of that for me is GTA. We spoke about it about 2 months ago, where someone found a way to make GTA's loading time drop from like 5 minutes to like seconds. Was it like 30 seconds? Maybe it's not that. But some PCs were taking 15 minutes to get into games. And this person realized that there was something that was pinging a server millions of times. And by just working around that or changing the way that that's configured, the game would load infinitely quicker, to the point where Rockstar's guys were like, yikes, okay, we'll take that and we'll put that in. And this is where, is it lazy? It's probably not lazy. It's probably an oversight or something. But it's just, you didn't get that. But I think this is where the complexity of video games come from. It's like, it's not a team of 3 or 5 people that are working and have been involved in every single bit of the code. You've got multiple teams of hundreds of people working on games that you can't have one person checking every bit of code for complexities. People are working on their own bit. And then you've got some people working on sticking bits together, and suddenly you've got chunky bits that add on to chunky bits that add on to chunky bits, and there's no streamlining it. So it's not laziness as such. It's hastiness. Hastiness. Do you know what? That's a better word. Hastiness. Developers aren't lazy. Developers are hasty. They're trying to get things to you as quick as possible, and quite often the quickest way isn't necessarily the lightest or the tidiest way. So that leads to games being twice as big as they need to be to get it out. But yeah, I like to see this. If we can drop a game from 170 gig to 83, then please make it so that I can download and install Warzone updates without having to delete a game every time that I want to do that, because I can't do it. Fuck's sake. But yeah, there you go. Microsoft's Flight Simulator update has been cut in half. If you don't want to play Flight Simulator, you can, and it won't take you months to download. It'll be pretty quick. Tell you what else is pretty quick to download: Knockout City. If you haven't played Knockout City yet, well, you've missed out on the free period of it. So more fool you. But it's not all bad news. That's a mighty cut down in file size, says Magic Man. Great work. That'll take off. Oh God. I mean, I like Gary's puns. They're not exciting. They're a little plain, but they're okay. Perhaps more of a not a priority. Games like COD need to be updated in a streamlined fashion. Yeah, for sure. There'll be a lot of that as well in terms of something like Call of Duty, where you have 9 months to release the next one. There's a reason why there's this hastiness in development. You don't have the time. You don't have all of the time in the world to make sure it works and it's fully streamlined and so on. It's just a case of get it out. Make sure it works. Forget how big it is. That's what she said. Just make sure it works. If we can trim some stuff while we're doing it, that's fine. But that's not the priority. The priority is to get something exceptional that works, that people can play. Fire it. So I wouldn't think that streamlining games are their priority. And I think that you see it with the games that come out every year. They are quite heavy compared to games that don't come out every year. Games that continue, games that don't have those sort of like calendars pushing for updates and releases. Those games, often pound for pound, aren't as meaty as something that comes out annually. And it's like, okay, well, that's only an annual game, but that's because it's got a lot of bloat hidden beneath it just to make sure it does its job, kind of thing. Anyway, Knockout City, as we were talking about, if you haven't seen it, is basically dodgeball, and it's a ridiculously good game. I did play a lot of it last week, and I will be playing more of it this week. So if anyone wants to jump on stream and play some Knockout City, there's a good chance I'll be playing it tomorrow. The downside right now is that the game was free for 10 days. That finished yesterday, I believe, so it's no longer, not yesterday, the day before, so it's no longer free for everyone to do whatever you want, because obviously the 10-day period has passed. However, the guys at Knockout City have made a tweak so that it is still free for everyone for a limited time, and that time is based on your progression. Sherif Saed at BG247 says, Knockout City is now free to play until level 25. Knockout City's launch trial may have ended, but there's another way you can try the game out without paying. At launch, Knockout City was fairly easy to play for free. Though this is a premium game, the full version is part of EA Play and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate on all platforms. EA even made the game free to play for the first 10 days of launch. And now that Knockout City's launch trial is over, EA returned with another promotion to keep the party going. Knockout City is now free for the first 25 levels, aka Street Rank, across all platforms. In other words, you can download and play the game to your heart's content so long as you remain below level 25. After that, you'll either need to buy the game for $20 or subscribe to EA Play or Xbox Game Pass Ultimate to continue playing. All your progress will carry over to the full version, of course. This is a good move, especially considering Knockout City is a multiplayer-only game, and many of those tend to struggle to maintain an active audience. Hopefully, it'll pay off for EA and developer VLAN, as it'll likely result in a constant stream of new players. What are your thoughts on this move? a game being given away for free for a limited time. And this is a multiplayer only. There is no story mode. You have to play this game competitively or not competitively, multiplayer games. You have to play it with other people. That often is the model for a free-to-play game, right? A free-to-play game where you pay for the battle passes-ish, kind of. I mean, I say that. PUBG's not free-to-play, but this game I play shitloads. So, yeah, but what are your thoughts? Who's played it? Who will be playing it? And would the fact that the game does remain free for 25 levels, does that inspire you to give it a try before playing it? Do you like the fact that people can get 25 levels for free? Is it a silly move for the business, giving people 25 levels? That's a good chunk of time playing the game to get to level 25. Is that a silly move? Are they just giving their product away? Just giving people enough time to go, and I'm done. What are your thoughts? Asim says, I played some Knockout City over the weekend with my usual Warzone crew. It was fun. Sucked at the start, but as I got used to it, fun. That said, I think it should be free to play. And a similar style to Fortnite wouldn't drop £18 on it on the PS5. Agreed. I probably wouldn't have... maybe I would have purchased it. I might have purchased it, but if I had have purchased it... can I say purchased it again? Maybe I can't. But if I had have done, it would have been for stream purposes, I think, because it's a good game to stream. It's quite interactive. So we've got... Let me see if this fits. It might be too long. That's what she said. Okay. Knockout City. Does that fit? No. Okay, F2P. We'll put F2P in. F2P. Until level 25. I'd have probably bought it for the stream because it's a good game. So last week, in the space of a couple of days, we'd had games with Spike, Kalyaneko, Iceman, Enzo, Tobe Jizzle, myself, Bib. There was probably more. If I'm forgetting like one person, I apologise. But that might have even been one day. Just going. Then a couple of American kids we'd never even heard of before. Plunder and Panda both dropped in and played some games. But it's such a nice, fun, easy opting game that people can just jump in, have a few games, and people can jump out, and someone else can jump in, have a few games, drop out. So I potentially would have paid for it for the stream, but I wouldn't have wanted to spend 20 quid on it on its own, just because it doesn't need it. Like Asim says, Fortnite doesn't need it. It just does its thing. Warzone doesn't need it. It just does its thing. And I think it's kind of either VLAN Studios being a small developer and just kind of wanting okay, we need to make sure we're getting some cash in it at launch by selling it, or it's EA just going, yeah, but we just want to make sure we get a bit of cash in it. Yeah, no. Okay. And then I envision this game becoming free to play entirely. I think that transition is possible, and probably not right now, but in a couple of months' time, I wouldn't be surprised to see Knockout City going entirely free to play. If not, I could see it just being okay, it's free on PS Plus and it's free for everyone on Game Pass now, and all of those bits, but it's still 20 quid for those that aren't. But I wouldn't be surprised if this does go free to play across the board. After they've made their money, they've sold all of their 20 quids that they believe they're going to sell. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes free to play, and which I think that will be better for it, because it's such a good game. It's so simple, but so beautifully deep at the same time. It's someone, I mentioned it on stream the other day, someone said Knockout City is effectively chess with a ball. I will not elaborate. And I'm thinking, do you know, you don't need to elaborate. That's kind of it. There's moves and there's counter moves. There's players and there's other players. There's solo flair and there's team brilliance. And it's just such a nice, refreshing, and infuriating, but also lovely game at the same time. So yeah, if you have a year played, give it a try. Give it a try. Genuinely, it's really, really good. If you don't, then you get 25 levels and you can jump in with me on stream to play some of it too. £18 does seem steep on a title where the fear is its player base dwindles quickly if it becomes another new game fad a la Fall Guys. F2P then retail. Yeah. I see it as more like a Rocket League. Like Rocket League. Look at Rocket League. It started out free, and then because of PS Plus, and then became a paid game, and people paid a shitload for it. But then they realised that actually it's better off if it becomes free. I know that took a long time for that kind of cycle to happen, but I just feel like this game has it. if I was going to put it near something else in terms of something super simple but competitive, I would see Rockout League being Rockout League, Rocket League, Rockout League. It's Knockout City versus Rockout. Oh my god, you know what I mean? Fuck's sake. So that is the closest game that I can think of to it. Rocket League and Knockout City. Those are the two closest ones. So I just see that being the future for it. And if Epic have thought, okay, Rocket League and Knockout and Fortnite, 2 games owned by Epic, both free to play, both have that season pass sort of content. Free to play eliminates the barrier and puts more people in now. I just feel like that's where it should be. That's where it should be. Such a great game. The £18 barrier is not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money, but it could have a big impact on sorting out a user base. Something that requires users to be on all the time for games to be launching. Yeah, you only need 6 players for a game, but if you need that user base, then having a barrier for that price there, that does make it difficult. Having it as a free game makes so much sense. People forget about it quickly now. They've to pay for it, which is unfortunate, but but that's the way it is in gaming. Yeah, people are more likely to spend money on battle pass stuff, themed content, and cosmetics if it's fully free to play. It would help them hugely in terms of DAU. What was DAU? Something users. Blocking at level 25 starts the party when it starts to get going. Yeah, that's the point though. That's like, it's such a shitty move. Oh, you're enjoying yourself? You're liking it? Yeah, you're getting good? Okay, you've got to give me some cash. It's ransom. No, get your ransom daily active users. There we go. I knew it was. I just couldn't work out the well, you know the letters. I was like, what does it mean? I've forgotten what it means. I was like, dedicated advanced users. There we go, got there. But yeah, that's it. That is purely a give me your cash. It's a knife point. It's a stick up. Okay, you having fun? No, you're not. Give me your money. Give it me now. Just let me carry on playing. Why have you let me play to this point and then stop me? You just made it difficult and awkward for both of us now. Just let me carry on. Just get rid of the stuff, and I'll throw a couple of quid out. And that's where you go. You make it. The gameplay is good. It's really good. Keep it good. Make sure there's no issues with ping. Make sure that people have a super solid gameplay experience, and then do what Rocket League did in terms of, okay, you've got the crew logo on your back in Knockout City. On Rocket League, you've got the flags on your car. Make community ones. Get I remember seeing, there's a Twitch flag, there's a Sidemen flag, there's a whatever flag. There's probably Elgato and Corsair and whatever flags in the game as well. Allow brands and stuff, crossovers in the game, so people can represent their own communities. Then do decent caliber paid for skins. Okay, you want the Kylo Ren robe in Knockout City? Fill your boots. We've got a crossover. That's where the money is. Get people to pay the fucking the 8 quid, the 10 quid, the 15 quid for the Kylo Ren set. If you get one person to spend 15 quid on that Kylo Ren set, that's 75% of your fee paid for already. Naturally, you have to pay some of that to your licensing, but then all it takes is another purchase, and that's it. Your quid's in, and that's where the long game is. So it just does feel a bit baffling. I still think it will come free to play, and I will welcome it till it does. But I will still fight its corner for the time being. Now, if you haven't used your free trial, definitely do it. And if you want to do that with us on stream, then even better. That's even better. Huge potential for brand partnerships and crossovers with Knockout City. It needs to be free to play to entice store. Absolutely. Absolutely. Amen. The game also came on the heels kind of EA's own Rocket Arena, which I think didn't do well. There was Rocket Arena. Is that the one? Destruction All Stars as well. Rocket Arena, Destruction All Stars, and none of them have had as much impact as Knockout City. Has it been world changing? Probably not. But has it got a lot of people playing? Absolutely. So I would say this has been better than both of those, and has the potential to last longer than both of those. I think Destruction All Stars was a little clunky in concept. Whilst it looked kind of fun, and I thought I'd give it a try, I watched Fixer, MC Fixer. That might even be where the Gallant Clark came from when I dropped in one of those streams. Can't quite remember what he was playing at that point in time. Anyway, dropping into MC Fixer, watching him play, and I thought, this is pretty fun. But then that kind of do you know what? I'm not that bothered anymore. Whereas Knockout City, I saw Actually, do you know, let me see. Yeah, Asim's just done the Gallic Clark. What is he playing at that point in time? He is Destruction All Stars. Yeah, there you go. The link is in the chat if you want to see it. I won't bring it up because you don't need to see it. But yeah, so that it was for Destruction All Stars. When that happened, that's when I went in going, this looks cool. And then before the end of the stream, I thought, I've seen enough. I don't need to see anymore. Don't need to play it. I'm not going to download it. And then didn't they have some sort of like weird, it's free but not free, but get it but don't get it, sort of like confusing, muddying the waters sort of payment system, which, okay, if that has kind of made it a bit difficult for Destruction All Stars to get some cut through, then yeah, just ditch it, EA. Get rid of all of that completely and just make it free to play so everyone can get involved. Job's good. Nice. Anyway, we'll wrap things up there. Knockout City, though, to summarize, is free to play for everyone. It was free for everyone, however far you wanted to go for the first 10 days. We are past that 10 days now, so now it is free for everyone to play until 25 levels, and that's it. So get Knockout City installed. You'll get 25 levels. As soon as you hit level 25, though, there comes the stick up. EA's team will rock up with the digital knives, threatening you to take all of your progress away if you don't give them 20 quid. So, good, but not good at the same time. Don't know if you covered this story already. The guys from Suikoden did a Kickstarter last year, 500 grand, and raised 4.3. Is that 4.3 million? But I didn't see that one. Do drop the link in the Discord if you're in our Discord. We do have a section called The Scoop. Just go share it in there, and I'll see if we can add it to the next show, which will be 10 a.m. tomorrow. Nice. On that bombshell, I mean, that was a good area to wrap it up. We are out of time. We're over time now. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Graham, and I'm joined on this show usually by Bib. We do go live at 10 a.m. ish each and every single weekday, where we go through the biggest, the best, and breaking stories, and those stories can be submitted by you. We have a Discord. Just type !Discord in the chat, which has been done by Mr. Garlic Clark. Just drop into the Discord. We have a section called A Scoop. Put the link to the news that you want us to discuss in there. Maybe add your thoughts and impressions. Then we will give our thoughts and impressions on the next show, which is 10 a.m. the very next day. That'll be 10 a.m. ish tomorrow. Obviously, if you don't have Discord, you can send it to us on social media. We are more likely to miss it on social media, though, as opposed to having it in the Discord. So make sure you do share any news that you want us to discuss in there. Nice. EA will show up and threaten you with a mandatory purchase of all Sims 4 DLC. You liking this game? Do you like the dodgeballs? Buy the Sims 4 DLC now. Yeah. No, thank you. I will pass. Hard pass. A reminder, it's Tuesday, so there will be no additional streams today. We aren't playing any games this afternoon. That means there's no Knockout City, no PUBG, no State of Decay, none of that jazz. But we will send you towards someone that is playing games, though. Stick around in the channel if you want a few extra channel points. They're just down there in the corner. Channel points are our on-channel currency that you can spend on things like making me sit up straight, or changing the lights in the room, whatever you want to spend them on. Or if you want to stick around long enough, you can even buy yourself a free sub to the channel. Save yourself a £5 by doing that. So if you want to get a few extra channel points, we're going to raid someone else. You get extra points for the raid, and you make someone's day by dropping a raid on them as well. So drop in their chat, say, hey, how are you doing? Nice to upload raid, and all of that jazz will make someone happy. You get channel points, everyone wins. Nice. Have yourselves a fantastic, though, people, you beautiful people. We'll see you at 10 a.m. ish tomorrow. We appreciate you, and remember to stay frosty.